Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Ian Bruce
and Marcus Hurley.
We're also joined by
Will. Hello, I'm Will. Nice to meet you.
On this show, we're going to talk about some TV shows that were kind of gone before their time, let's say, cancelled way too early, or, you know,
like Rob.
were
Like
taken
Rob's
away from us far too soon. Okay, so, and we're not going to talk about Firefly because that's the obvious one. But we will. I am going to talk about other shows that I thought were gone before their time. And the first one that I've got on my list is Awake, which starred Jason Isaacs as a man who was a cop, I think.
Yeah.
And he has an accident and then wakes up, and it's like his wife is dead, and then he goes back to sleep and his son is dead. And so it's like he's living in two worlds, and one kind of informs things that happen in the other. So you're not really sure which one is real, or if, you know, or if he's just gone mad or whatever. And it only ran for one season, but I thought it had a lot of potential.
It sounds like it only ran for one season because it's completely either baffling or he just keeps waking up and more people have died. I'm a bit confused here.
Yeah, I think it was quite a tricky show. Like, a lot of people maybe just went off it because they just didn't have the patience for it. But I mean, for me, it was kind of one of the more I don't know. It kind of was quite thought provoking for TV, I thought, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Trying to think when it ran. It was
Few years ago?
2012. Yeah, 2012. Yeah, it's on Amazon Video to watch, I think. Oh no, you have to buy it. It's not on Amazon Prime. But yeah, I thought that was good, and I thought they could have done some more with that. But you know, I might be wrong. They definitely didn't leave it on a satisfactory note. I think it was just like 13 episodes, and then they cancelled it. And that was on, I don't know what network it was on. I think it was on FX or something like that. Yeah. Anyone else got a show that isn't Firefly?
Well,
I do.
What? Oh, go for it.
Space Above and Beyond.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That ended on a... I don't know. I just want to clarify something. You probably remember the ending as well. The part where they're drifting into space, just sort of like shooting, and they're in that container ship. You know, the ships had like a sort of central section, and I think in order to let the people survive, they went off to the mother world or something to try and do the big mission to kill the host, and it went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And they were basically just drifted either towards Earth or into space, just shooting for survival whilst they were being overrun by hordes of fighters and stuff. And that's how it ended, as far as I remember.
Yeah, but didn't it just get canned mid-season? It wasn't...
It did just get canned, yeah, but that was it. That was the cliffhanger. And I was just like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
That is a series. I mean, as sci-fi films go, series go, I loved it. It was basically like Call of Duty, but no, not Call of Duty. Yeah, Call of Duty, the TV show, in space. All the characters that were quite likeable, the way they interacted. You had the genetically engineered soldiers called tanks, because they were grown in like bioengineering tanks, and they were supposed to be dumb and just, you know, Boxer from Animal Farm style, but they all got to like each other. And it was very much a forerunner to what's the show that's on Netflix at the moment that you're loving? The Expanse. Yeah. The Expanse very much reminds me of elements of Space Above and Beyond. And I would love to see that show come back, even if just for a limited run. It would give me the same feeling that the X-Files did when that came back.
Hopefully.
I'd be very, very happy. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Good choice.
There was one. Yeah, there was one that I saw years ago. Do you remember there was an X-Files spin-off, The Lone Gunman?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Do you not remember that, Rob?
I'm just looking it up.
What?
Wow.
The Lone Gunmen.
That's the one that predicted 9/11, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know Mulder's little informant group, his little geek tribe that he used to turn to.
Oh, yeah.
He had the little geek guys, but that only ran for one season. I thought it was quite interesting, but I think basically it didn't have Gillian Anderson in it. That I recall, it was just the Geek Squad. But I don't really know why it died, but it happened. I mean,
I think because something happened in the main series that stopped any further.
Yeah, and I don't think they had enough. I mean, they were all clones of each other, really. They were just, it was the Geek Squad. And listener, we've been quite disparaging towards nerds and geeks, but we are nerds and geeks. We embrace them and love them all. So
yes.
But yeah, they didn't have the dynamic of Mulder and Scully, really. So they were kind of a thing for 5 minutes in an episode, not for a season.
I think nerds and geeks have been proven to have dynamics when well written. You look at the Big Bang Theory, for example, and the IT Crowd, which sadly finished at series 3, I believe. And I would absolutely love to see more of the IT Crowd. And actually, to me, I don't know, I think it's the thing about British comedy series, kind of shifting the conversation on that side. But the American comedy series will carry on until it jumps the shark. They will go and they will go. Friends runs to series 10, Big Bang Theory, Simpsons. They
Happy
never
Days.
stop. They never stop. Oh, well, that's where the whole term
There we
came
go,
from,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, Fonzie jumping the shark.
Yeah.
However, you look at a lot of the British stuff. Red Dwarf being an exception, oddly enough, but 40 Towers.
I'm watching that right now.
I've got it recorded because I still will, but it's not the same, is it? But 40 Towers, 2 series, Young Ones, 2 series. Basically, they kind of went, yeah, we're done now. Let's do something else. And I kind of respect that, which is why for TV series I find it very hard to do it. It's only when the American ones and they've got these big old seasonal arcs, the modern thing. I would love to see more of The Wire, actually.
It's on Netflix at the moment, isn't it? Or Amazon or somewhere?
I know it's on Sky. I watched the whole lot of the Sky box sets.
Yeah,
I think that's 4 series. I watched
Can I just make a recommendation? Can I make a recommendation, Will? If you like The Wire...
I can't watch the porn show on the commute.
Oh, okay. The other one is Treme. Which is a good show, and that's all set in New Orleans.
Is that
and it has
just
a very
shortening
similar
of
vibe.
the hair of the shampoo?
No.
Wow.
No, it's wow, yeah. No, that's it's all set in New Orleans around just in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and that's kind of if you want something like The Wire that's got a similar vibe, then I really recommend that. But yeah, other than that, yeah, of course, The Juice is fucking amazing.
I've heard about Narcos. I've not watched it. Is that anything like it, or is that something else entirely?
That's good. That's great. You'd love it.
It's something else. It's something else, but it's something else. It's good.
Or The Shield.
Yeah, I watched the first season of that. I think I just missed the boat entirely there.
With what, Narcos or The Shield?
The Shield.
Didn't you
I've watched
it all the way through?
no, I watched the first season
with Jeff Canata. That's
the
first time I've said that.
Oddly enough, what I would say, for those that like The Wire, British Channel 4 drama No Offence is worth a punt.
Okay.
It's not quite as in-depth or as nasty, but anyone who hasn't watched No Offence, and I think they're going to be doing a 3rd series of that, that's surprisingly good. It should all be available on all 4, but it's a British-based detective thing with an overarching plot arc. Gets very interesting and thoroughly enjoyable, but also a few more laughs than The Wire. So, whilst bouncing off of subjects and random walls, that's one to mention.
Yeah, no, just wanted to go back to Narcos. I think someone else said it, and I completely agreed. The first 2 seasons of Narcos are excellent. However, once a certain plot arc is over, it's kind of like Homeland without a certain ginger chap.
Ed Sheeran was in it. What?
No, I'm trying to be cryptic, but basically the first 3 seasons of Homeland, that is like a nice trilogy. Afterwards, you're like, the party's over. Why are you still here? You know, it's a bit like that. But yeah, I don't know. The 3rd season of Narcos was a good effort, but that's not one I'm especially up for seeing more of, even though I know there's going to be at least one more.
And also, they've kind of had a chat with the guy in the leather jacket with the motorbike and said, "Hey, look, there's a shark in that river. Do you want to see if you can leap over it?"
I'm not sure Homeland did that. Homeland righted itself.
No, talking about Narcos. You say it kind of ran out of steam.
I think Homeland's definitely jumped the shark at this point. Don't think Narcos has yet, but there's potential that it could. Anyway, yeah, back to shows that were gone before their time. I've got a couple here. One is Lights Out, which was a show about a retired boxer who makes some bad investments and then has to get back in the ring. And this starred Holt McCallany, who has recently been seen in Mindhunter. And I thought it was really, really good. It was back in 2011, but yeah, it was just one season, and then it just ended. It had a lot of recognisable faces in it as well. Supporting Stacey Keach was playing like the trainer. Catherine McCormack, you might remember from Braveheart, she was the wife. And what's his Pablo Schreiber, who was most recently probably widely known as the mustachioed prison guard in Orange is the New Black. He was in it as well. So I thought that was really good, and I would have easily watched a second season of it had they decided to do that.
Okay.
Yep. Anyone got any more?
Yep, I've got one.
Go on.
It was kind of like a guilty pleasure. Now and Again. It was a TV series in 1999 to 2000. Only ran for one season. It was about this guy who was killed in a subway accident, underground accident, and the government put his brain into a genetically altered body. So it's like $6 Million Man sort of thing. But he's supposed to work for them, but he sort of does the RoboCop thing where he tries to find out about his life before.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Why did I not watch that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was okay. I really enjoyed it.
Hold on, was it on ITV?
I have no idea what it was on. It was
Looks
American.
like American thing.
It was American though.
Oh right. Okay.
But it ended with basically him
Holy shit,
finding
Dennis
his.
Haysbert was in it. Excellent.
Yeah.
It ended with him, I think, finding his daughter or something like that, and then they escape. And basically the doors kick in, and the guy who's meant to be his watcher is like scowl-faced and just says, find them, and that's it. It ends. It's like the Blade Runner ending without the car sequence at the end. That's what they went for at the end of it. And I would love to see a bit more of that, but it never happened, and probably never will, unfortunately. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Actually,
I couldn't tell you what happened in it though, but I remember at the time watching it thinking, "Oh, this is pretty cool. I quite like the concept of this."
Another one springs to mind for me. Now, this is something that was mentioned on the excellent Not Listening podcast a while back. When
I've heard that's quite good.
I've heard it's a bit sparse. The twats that record that one
they
never
sort
seem
of
to get
record
their
like
acts together.
Yeah, they do like a couple of episodes a year, then leave it a bit, and then
along those
do
lines.
a couple more.
But you never know, some more might happen. Who can say? However, the genius guy, I can't remember his name on that podcast.
Mash.
Yeah, I think it must be him.
Yeah,
but no, we found that there was a mention at the time. So this was, I think, maybe last year, and I think basically, it was Tony Robinson said that we're all keen to do another Blackadder if we can persuade Hugh Laurie to do it for a price we can afford. Now, I would love to see one more series of Blackadder, and there is only one logical time period that it could be in. Now, to me, because obviously they go forward in time, and there's only one really good quality time period they could do it in. But I think we could see a Cold War Blackadder, with Blackadder as a double agent or triple agent, tied in with the Americans, the British, and the Russians, playing off against all the paymasters, consistently getting in trouble.
That would be amazing.
I think could be fantastic if done right. But you've got to have the old faithfuls back. You've got to have Stephen Fry. You've got to have Hugh Laurie. You've got to have Tony Robinson. Rowan Atkinson would probably be useful. Sadly, you won't get Flashheart appear. But I think that is probably, out of all the things mentioned here, the thing I would love to see the most.
Edmondson might get in just in honour of his friend.
I think it would have to be done. Well, Ade Edmondson certainly appeared in Blackadder Goes Forth. in the same episode as Flashheart.
My finest and blondest friends.
But yeah, I would dearly love to see another series of Blackadder. That would be my.
That sounds amazing.
That would be my TV happiness. Now, whether it's BBC or whether Dave could stretch to it, or who knows what, I think that could be brilliant. And particularly if they could get Richard Curtis and Ben Elton involved in the writing again. I don't know if Ben Elton does anything these days, but you know.
Apparently, he's got a show on at the moment that I was meaning
musicals,
to check out.
isn't he? He's writing musicals for the West End and stuff.
Fine.
He's got a new TV show on it right now. I'm just going to look that up. Upstart Crow. Is that it?
I've heard of it.
That must be it. He's written it. Oh, it's with David
Is that about
Mitchell.
Jon Snow?
The life of William Shakespeare before he became famous.
Oh, I've seen that's on iPlayer. I've not actually looked at it. I didn't realise it was Ben Elton. Might look at it.
Oh, there's 3 seasons of it.
Yeah, I might give that a try off the strength of Ben Elton. 1 episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all looking baffled by this.
Yeah. No, I thought that it was really new, but I didn't realise it's like a couple of seasons in. But it's ongoing.
You're clearly spending too much time watching American TV on Netflix and neglecting our culture.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one more. The Chicago Code by the Sean Ryan, who did The Shield. This was a cop show, which is something I normally run a mile from. But I was intrigued by the cast and the premise of it. It had Jason Clarke, Jennifer Beals in it, and it had a really cool vibe, pretty good budget, which is probably why they cancelled it, like every other Sean Ryan show. But yeah, it was a cop show, but it wasn't Case of the Week. I guess it was like The Shield, really, from what I saw of that. But it all dealt with corruption and.
But you have to do the whole show for The Shield. It's changed our relationship that I now discover you haven't watched it all.
I know.
This is just wrong.
I know. I need to. I gave it a shot. It's all still on Netflix? Because I know I started it. Yeah. Okay. I'll get on it. Anyone else got any others?
I've got one show. They weren't taken before their time, but I feel as though a sort of combination of the two shows will be quite nice, considering they recently celebrated 20 years of Buffy. So I think a Buffy Angel
bringing back
show
that kind of cheese. Now, Midnight
great.
Texas was okay, but
I just think a combination of those two, just sort of set years afterwards, because the comics have been going on for ages. Maybe they could choose some point in there, because the comics are still canon. They're still going on, so maybe they could choose a point in that, or it could be anything, a short mini-series, 6 parts, whatever. I just think it will be great. Because just watching the show, the way it was written, it was so, I don't want to say ahead of its time, but I think it was so poignant. Considering the demographic was like sort of teens, early 20s, you're not quite sure what you're doing.
You mean what we were at the time?
A lot of it dealt with that. And I didn't realise that at the time. And you watch it back and you just think, bloody hell, I just thought it was all kicking blokes in weird makeup in the face and stabbing them with sticks.
No, that was WWE.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just think it was really good. I think it doesn't need to get political, because there's loads of things out there that do that. But I think if it does what it does, because when it gets dark, it got really dark. And I just think with today's effects, makeup, prosthetics, we've all moved on a bit. I just think it would just be a laugh. It'd just be so good. I think a mini series of that would be great.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and actually, one to finish on, which is just one of those a program I'd missed for years, something I enjoyed in my early 20s that did come back a couple of years ago that I am thoroughly enjoying. So I suggest, seeing as we very much push ourselves out to the geek community, is something I'm enjoying at the moment. And episode 3 of the latest series I watched on my commute today. It is one of those ones where they're hour-long episodes, but really you can skip through a chunk, and that is Robot Wars.
Oh, right.
You know
Cool.
what?
Yeah.
I am really enjoying it.
I haven't watched any of the new stuff. I need to get on that.
There was the
It's got
episode
Dara
3
O'Brien,
this
you
week's
can't
one.
miss it.
Dara O'Brien.
man.
It's loads. Basically, it's an hour-long episode. There's probably about 20 minutes of robot fights in it, which are the main thing to watch, and then just skip through all the bits where they tell the life history about all the people making the teams and how they've always loved robots and doing all of this and how they're using the latest
Wow.
tetracarbon frames and all of that bollocks. But if you just fast, because you can pre-record now, you don't need to watch live TV. You pull it down, you fast forward, you watch the robot fights. You get to see the one today where basically they've got these robots fighting. They're 110 kilos of metal these days, and you got this one with a spinning metal blade that weighed 39 kilos in itself. Now that's twice the weight of my dog, right? Spinning metal blade flies off,
It's half
beats
the weight
its
of
own
my
robot
cock.
up. Robot is flown one end, and the other end is basically goes through the bulletproof glass of the arena. And it's fantastically
Oh my
entertaining
God.
to watch the faces of the geeks who have spent a year and £10,000 building these robots and watching it self-destruct. So they're beaten by us.
And they're just like,
team of
oh, yeah, we
schoolboys.
didn't fix that up right.
So,
It is
watch it for the
quality
Schadenfreude,
entertainment.
okay? Fair enough.
I still remember one of my favourite memories
Schadenfreude
of
party without a doubt, and no one else is invited. Ha ha.
one of my weird memories of that, sort of like enjoying someone's misery in Robot Wars, was one of the robots it set itself on fire, and it just cut a shot to the bloke, and he had the remote control in his hand, and he was just flicking a switch on and off, just looking, and his lip was wobbling. He was just like going click click.
Well,
click,
a guy from the
click,
last
click.
series went viral when he was beaten by a team of school children, and
Yeah.
you saw them
Oh,
interview,
man.
and he just basically walked out sobbing. It's proper entertainment. None of that Bake Off. This is kind of the it's the Great British Robot Off, and it's magnificent. So I'm just delighted to see that back, and I think the current format, frankly, could be cut down to half an hour, and it would be better. But you know what? I'll deal with it. I'll
Brilliant.
fast forward it myself.
I reckon they should have got the bloke from space to do the announcement. The first rule of Robot Wars is you do not talk about Robot Wars.
God, that would
Second
improve
rule
it if
is
they got
no smoking.
What's his name? The Peter.
Serafinowicz.
Peter Serafinowicz doing the voice, doing the commentary. That would make
That would be awesome.
And now
Who's
Especially
hosting
if
it now?
Especially
Dara
if he does a
O'Brien.
Darth Maul
Dara
voice.
O'Brien.
Oh, it's
and
Dara
I
O'Brien,
can't remember
sorry.
her name, and a gorgeous red-headed Irish lady whose name escapes me, but she's very cool.
Based on your Robot Wars thing, Scrap Heap Challenge.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yes, the classic one. I do like the newer one with the guy with the big moustache. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But I want classic Llewellyn and Lisa Rogers, because it was just absolutely batshit insane. They're repeated early in the morning, usually when I'm waiting to go into work, on Dave. I think it's undoubtedly Dave. So you could probably watch them all on UK TV streaming site. But I just loved these people standing in the field, dragging shit around and making crap, and then being excited when they could throw a cow halfway across a field with something they've made themselves.
Well, that's
fairly
like
sure
Robot
that
Wars, actually.
it is. And Robert Llewellyn was really good.
Yeah, sorry, just very quickly. Sorry, the gorgeous red-headed Irish woman is named Angela Scanlon, and I've not heard the name either. She's an Irish TV presenter. She's done the one show, but some of us work at these times of day. And yeah, I'd never heard of her before this, so I couldn't remember her name. Whereas Dara, I'd seen in other stuff.
He's been around.
Yeah, she's lovely, and she shuts down men who make sexist comments about her clothing. Apparently,
But
there
only
you
their
go.
clothing.
So you're in real trouble now.
What? For not being able to remember her name?
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I just typed in I just googled her, and that's what comes up.
Fine. Anyway, sorry.
Let's
Ian.
move on.
Scrap Heap
it's
Challenge,
fine.
I'm with you on, actually. That was an excellent programme.
Yes.
And
Always good fun.
there's not enough good, healthy, get outdoors and just do that sort of stuff. Although the nearest scrap heap to us in Chelmsford got demolished a couple of years ago and is now basically in a state full of Jehovah's Witnesses. So that was a bit random.
Jehovah's Witness Challenge just doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it?
Well, come on, the Daz Doorstep Challenge would work well there. They're all going to answer their door when you knock on it. It's gone quiet again.
Keith Cheggers isn't doing much these days, is he?
I think he just drinks himself to a coma every morning.
Yeah.
Alcoholism's a sad
Cheers
thing.
to that.
Yeah, cheers,
and
guys.
then washes his shirts in the lifetime amount of Daz he's probably got.
or just his own tears.
Oh, God. Daz is made from the tears of Keith Chegwin.
This has been the Not Watching Podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself, Marcus and Ian talk about video games and virtual reality on the Not Playing Podcast, and Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of funny things on the Not Listening Podcast. You can email us at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya!
Jesus. She's probably good at her job as well.
Oh, she knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. She's entertaining, but I can just notice that she's gorgeous and redheaded and Irish. What can I do?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right.
She's a good a talented female commentator.
She's.
If you listen closely, listener, you can hear the sound of the shovel hitting the earth.
That's the noise of our single female listener writing a strongly worded letter of complaint.
Well, just address her, Rob, because I should look it up, but I don't know who she is. She just appeared. Dara O'Brien, I've seen in loads of programmes.
Wasn't it Philippa Forrester in the old one?
While you're Googling your perversions, I'm going to have one for this, based on your